All right, it is. Uh, I'm gonna be able to do this right eventually. It is June 23rd, 2021, and this
Oof.
is whatever this is. And I am here. My guest today is Praxis. Do you want to go by your screen
Oh yeah.
name or?
My real name is Misha, but
Oh,
yeah, I go by Dance Praxis. I just kind of like I don't really put my name out there. I don't know why. It's not really like I'm like trying to hide. You can easily find me on the internet. But for the most part, I had at one point I uh had changed my Facebook name just slightly so that I could keep posting like swear words and like things because at the time when I made the switch, I was doing that because my I was teaching like kids dance classes, so
hmm.
I had a couple like students that were younger,
Oh, I see.
and yeah, they're on the internet and stuff. They might be on Facebook or whatnot. Most of them were on Instagram, so are like no interaction there, but I was just
I
like,
see.
maybe their mom or something finds me on Facebook or whatever. I don't want that to happen. I don't want them to see me saying like poop and shit, well, shit and fuck, and like posting memes about like sex and partying and such. Cause that's my, at least for me, it's my personal space. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
yeah.
like if a joke or something of mine gets out there and like it's raunchy or whatever, I don't particularly care that anyone sees. But for the most part, I you know if you're already my friend on Facebook, you're stuck dealing with it. But like, I didn't want any new people finding me there.
I see. I see. I mean, that makes sense
Hmm.
to me. I mean, I don't I don't teach like classes or stuff, and
Hmm.
yeah, and the same thing with me. Whoever knows me is pretty much stuck knowing me. I also don't do stuff on Facebook,
Hmm.
but that has nothing to do with this. I don't post stuff on Facebook.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a dying platform.
Yeah,
I'm still on it because like I've got like cousins and stuff who are on it, and that's kind of I'm too lazy to get their numbers. And
it's
no,
the
but it's a
same.
really
No, but you're right. Yeah,
it's a really easy way to keep in contact. Like every once in a while, I have a conversation with my cousin John, just because like I post a meme on Facebook, and he's like, "Hey, that was really funny. How you doing?" And I'm like, "Doopa doopa doo. How you doing, buddy?" Yeah, it's real.
and then
It's
the
great.
conversation dies down, and you don't talk to them for a year. I get
You
it.
don't exactly another exactly, but it's still nice.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, Facebook. I didn't think that the app that I used to keep up with my with just people in my life was also going to be part of like the fall of our society to a degree. Like how Facebook plays such a giant role in like the nonsense that's happened in the last few years. I mean, like,
I
ugh,
mean,
it's weird.
it's insane. Like, it's so insane that that's how that. But yes, that's
Hmm. But
I don't
anyway,
even.
that's why. But yeah, so I am Misha or Dance Praxis. We know each other through like TikTok and stuff. I make political posts, and yeah. But thank you for having me on. What's going on, man?
No
I don't
problem.
want to just rant about Facebook memes.
I mean, that's true, but not because it's a problem, but that's because everyone does it. I feel like, you gotta separate yourself from everyone else.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, like you said, you do like political like satire stuff on TikTok. Yeah, that's how I found you. And then
Gotcha.
like at some point, I realized we were following each other. It was like, okay, so I think like
Yeah.
so I decided a while ago that I was eventually just going to contact everyone, like whoever I'm following is following me back, my mutuals.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to be
Gotcha.
on my show? And whoever agreed or didn't, I would go from there.
Gotcha.
So, um, there's pretty much only like one question that I ever have planned out for this show, and that's the
Okay.
question I start off with, and do you know what I'm doing on TikTok about running for president?
What's up?
Do you know about me trying to run for president on TikTok?
No.
Oh, that's great.
You're running for
Listen.
president on TikTok?
Well, I'm not. Listen. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. It's really
Okay.
stupid, but it's also hilarious.
I'm into it.
I think it is. The reason why I'm on the internet in like this, my YouTube channel, all of it, is
Yeah.
because I want to run for president of the United States in the next election, purely out of
Okay.
spite, so I can just annoy like the people at Fox News and MSNBC and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully like the actual politicians if I actually win. But again, that's for later thing.
Okay.
So the thought process, and I use thought process very loosely, but
Mm-hmm.
my thought process is eventually someone is going to find this story and is going to write it out. Like, someone small, like who has like a personal blog or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And eventually you'll just catch fire and
Right. You'll snowball.
then I'll either actually be able to run for president or I'll
Right.
get shot in the street. Either way, I don't know.
It's gonna have interesting effects either way. Is
Exactly.
essentially you're just along for the ride.
Exactly.
You know, I feel that a lot. That's where I kind of like I feel like our trajectory for making content, and because like while my goal is to bring people onto like my side of the like thinking, at the end of the day I'm really just taking everything that I learn and being like, what how can I just incite anger into the power and to the powers that be right now, like the people that are running things and that are
Right.
in just the top spot. How do I annoy you
Exactly.
into like skyrocketing me into just everyone's phone? I don't want to be famous. I don't think I'm ever going to be popular, in the traditional sense. But
Right.
someone's going to be like, wow, that guy, he really got on my nerves.
Yeah, exactly. Because, listen, I've seen everything that's been going on. It was like, I'm going to be honest. I can't do it. Like, I can't, like, actively, I'm, like, really lazy. And I'm also kind of a bitch. Like, I can't do stuff like that. And I have a lot of respect for people that do. And then I thought, like, what could I do to, make a difference? It was like, become president. It's like, I could do that.
I mean, at this point, if Trump can do it, anyone can.
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said.
So a couple of people have put this into perspective, but I don't think that like collectively anyone like really, or not not anyone, but like everyone really grasped this in movies, right? If we're coming from like a pop cultural standpoint, in movies from like I think early or like late 80s to the 90s, early 90s, fucking made Donald Trump, specifically Donald Trump, the bad guy at the head of like every corporate sort of like the Mario Brothers movie, right? The dude who's supposed to be King Koopa was a very Donald Trump type.
Yes, supposed to be.
Biff from Back to the Future, Donald Trump type. There were all these like slick talking, blonde haired CEO dudes that you just knew was fucking shorthand for bad douche. You know what I mean?
And that's true. And you're right. Like, there were some people that like picked that up, but like I don't think you're right. Like, not everyone has. But my problem with that is, and there's always been my problem. Like, even knowing who Donald Trump was originally, Donald Trump has never been that dude. Like, and that's what really upsets me about this, because you see in these movies, the dude who's doing this always has to be this goddamn 8th level genius who plays like chess against like 15 grandmasters and then beats them all in like 3 moves. It's like, you don't need any of that. You don't need to be a James Bond villain to succeed.
You literally just need like enough attention, and
Exactly.
it's so weird.
Like
Like,
I I want this to work because it'll be funny, but
mhm.
I can't tell you how absolutely disappointed I'll be if this actually works.
You know, that's another thing. Yeah. Like, what is the realm of possibility now? Like, I think that this is a legitimate way to start a campaign if you actually want to like create change right now.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm calling it now. 10 years from now, one of the Paul brothers is president
Oh, absolutely.
or runs for president.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, most certainly they're gonna do it, and it's, you know what sucks is someone's gonna like clip this and be like, even this guy said that they could be president one day, and I'm gonna be fucking deep faked into being support for it. Oh god, they're gonna get us.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, just like, they know too much. I'm dead now. Anyway.
But yeah, so.
But see, I completely support you, and as somebody who, I like your content. I think I followed you because you either had some sort of sassy remark to a comment,
Sure.
and I was just like, that's awesome, or you posted something about comic books, and I was like, or something nerdy, and I was like, I want to hear you talk about this more. And I really don't look through my For You page. Like, there's so much stuff that I miss because I don't care about the For You page. I just look through my following, but I follow a lot of people. But every once in a while, I want to see like somebody, everyone just like say something and like, nice,
Right.
So as a presidential candidate and a meme, how are you going to how are we going to get attention, and how are you going to like run America? What's the deal?
Okay, so as far as like actually doing stuff, I only have like 3 real goals in the stuff that I want to do.
Okay.
My first my first goal is whenever the people at Fox News say that I'm doing something wrong, that's probably the direction I want to keep going.
Okay.
My second self-imposed rule is I have to figure out who actually knows what they're doing in like every area and get them to do it, because I don't know anything. Like, all I have going for me is I should have looked this up since I just talked to someone else and I forgot what this word is. I have mental empathy.
Okay.
Which essentially means that while I can't feel, the emotion of a person, I can see their perspective of where they're coming from.
Right.
So, presumably, I'll at least be able to like figure out different, situations and why people are doing or saying stuff in the way that they're saying it, which again, I'm not saying I'm perfect at, but
right.
It's something that I actually do like doing. Like people who like just sit somewhere and just watch people.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Which is why I'm doing this, because like one of the reasons, because like when I started TikTok, I just posted like anything. Well, I still just post anything, but I like talking to people. Technically, like, people are weird sometimes, but I do like talking to people.
Right.
So,
so strange.
So, I just use this and figure out, what it is that people want or feel, and also so people can figure me out too. Because people ask me, like, again, this gets brought up a lot, so I don't know if you've seen any of these videos. People ask me of like, am I like acting the way that I do in my videos for like attention? Like, no. I mean, if I could act like that, then I'd be an actor. but I can't. That's not
Right. It's not a presentation. You're not doing a bit or anything. It's just you are you. This is your voice. This is how you react to people. And I think that sometimes that doesn't register because there is, at least for some people, or actually I would say most people, there is a level of awkwardness that you have to get past while you're on camera to then like act like yourself on camera, that you then have to like get past even further before you can just be natural on camera. And so somebody who just puts a fucking phone in their face and is just like, hey, I can present myself pretty clearly, pretty, eloquently, just off the cuff, is like, how do you do that? I couldn't. It would take me 1,000 million tries to say that. But and so they some people do have to like have like a script off the side, and they're like, yes, and the blah 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 and my thing, and that's completely valid. But like there's a level of their own sort of getting over being on this thing that is like because I don't know. I think that a lot of this stuff is still so new that I don't fault anybody for like looking at a fucking iPhone or like any computer like a fucking ape first discovering fire. You know what I mean? Or what's that scene in like 2001: A Space Odyssey with the monolith?
The monolith.
Like I don't fault you at all.
That scene is everywhere. Like everyone knows that scene. That movie came out in like the 80s, and
it hasn't left high school film classes since.
Nope, it sure hasn't. And also, like the last thing, do I still have it up here? I don't know if I do. The last thing is to not take myself too seriously, and for that, I have a list of stuff that I want to do as president. Not useful stuff, mind you, but stuff that I want to do while either running for or after becoming president. And I'm gonna read you some of the things off this list. And then I'll read you like actual stuff that can be like useful, maybe. Okay. The first thing I want to do is this is when I actually become president. I want to take pictures of me in the Oval Office when I'm posing dramatically, and then put them out on the internet so people can digitally enhance them. Okay. Because, well, I just
are you saying you want movie posters of you in the Oval Office?
I mean, they don't have to be movie posters. I'm just saying, like, you usually like the pictures of just the presidential photographer or whatever he's called. Yeah. And you'll just like take the same pictures he always does, like all the other presidents, or they always take for the other presidents, and they'll just like release them like they always do. But I want people to like, I don't know, give me like force powers or something.
Okay, I gotcha. So like an open source sort of like a presidential meme page, Yeah. You're like, hey, these are the photos from the Oval Office. Do what you want. We'll post them up. Everybody gets to fuck with me.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. I'm into it. All right.
I also, of course, just want to do it so I can get my Chia Pet head, because every president recently gets a Chia Pet head. I just want to see that.
That's true. I think everyone... you don't reach true stardom until you're immortalized as a Chia Pet. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What else? I mean, there were a couple of things. Oh, also just so I can travel to different countries, like all the countries, as opposed to like the ones that only civilians get to go to.
Right. You literally get to experience a lot of stuff in a really, really safe way, and for pretty cheap. I'm pretty sure they don't charge you for being president.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you get so much good. Dude, being a politician would be tight. All right. I don't know what position I could play, but just if I can get a job, I will help you.
I mean, that's fine. Like, let's see, just not even like so many people have just asked me, like people like randomly in my comments just ask me if you can make me a vice president. It's like, no, I need someone who knows what they're doing to be vice president. Only one of us can be clueless. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But wait, I can vacuum real good. I could maid staff. That's a respectable position.
For any job, I'm sure we can figure something out. I'll figure something out. I'll talk to the Secret Service and see if they can how it works.
They probably have a dance fight division. I could probably I could win all of your dance battles for you. I'd be dance security, so that every time you go to a club, you are completely safe from being served.
You know what? I can't dance at all, so that'll probably work. I'm gonna look into that. This last one actually goes with the picture one, but I really like this idea. I'm really proud of this idea. I want to ask Chris Evans if he'd take a picture with me in the Oval Office, just as Captain America, and Anthony Mackie now too. I should change this because I made this a while ago, but I have them both take pictures with me as Captain America. But that's
okay. What if you got Chris Evans? Did they do old man makeup, or was that CGI when he was like, "No, I don't think I will"?
I have no idea.
Was that an old man?
No idea. No, that was Chris Evans. I don't know if they did
Chris Evans.
Yeah, I think it was Chris Evans.
I was gonna say, if you could get him in old man makeup in the Captain America.
I mean, listen,
old man Captain America. Because then you know what I'm saying, it could be like a timeline accurate.
Yes, and that's true. Like, I get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. I completely understand. I'm just like, listen, I can't, because I totally would do that. But I don't want to bother Chris Evans with having to come down to the
but you're the president, and that is America's ass. He has a civic duty.
My point is that's one of the things that I want.
Fair enough. Also, no, I respect it. We're gonna make it happen.
Oh man, and yeah. Again, there's other stuff on this list, but those are like the main things that I thought of.
Okay. Wait. What's like? Give me a few more. I want to know. I really want to know these. I'm
okay. Listen, now. I have no issue with this. Let's see. What else do I have on this list of my ramblings? I don't know how well this is going to work, or what. But do you remember? You remember Mulan, the animated one?
Yeah.
You remember the guy who was left behind to, I guess, like assess the unit and report back to his father?
Yes.
I want to take pictures with all of the world leaders I meet in the same pose that he had when he met the Emperor. Like, I don't know if you'll have to look at. I want to see if I can find it now. Hold on.
Oh God.
But yeah.
Because that's really specific. If you find
it is, and I mean, it's not.
You know what's crazy is you're gonna like pull up the image, and I'm gonna know like immediately. I'm like, fuck.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can do this because I don't know how to like screen share because I've never actually done it before. Oh, wait, I have a better idea. I'm just going to take a picture and then show it to you. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to tell you about this last one. Okay. I have my my roommate who played high school football, and his leg, and it messed up like his leg.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do want to do is fix, the healthcare system, like exclusively, so I can like give him, fix his legs, specifically make him a cyborg, like because I want to get him like super advanced legs, because I don't know, I think it would be funny. Yeah, this is. Oh, here's my camera. Here's the one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. I need that. I will take those photos for you. Um, honestly, I think that we could seriously pitch um, this healthcare for cyborgs, or universal healthcare plus universal cyborg um, parts,
Mm.
uh, as an interesting marketing campaign. I think that we would probably have to address some like amputees and people who do have prosthetics, so that
Yeah.
we're coming from a really inclusive perspective. But at the
Oh,
same time,
absolutely. Like,
I think like marketing, cyberpunk 2099 healthcare. You could get a robot eye. You could be Kano if you want. Like,
I listen. Definitely that. Ted, did you see the video of the person who's an amputee who made like a vine arm instead of just having like a normal hand attachment? You never saw
of
that?
Vina? No, I
I
haven't.
I
Maybe,
saw
but
like so yeah like she was just like an amputee again. She was just like missing her. I think it was just like her forearm.
okay.
And but instead of getting like the normal hand, she like designed her own setup that was just like it was just a vine, so we just like would
Oh,
coil around stuff to pick it up. Oh, I have no idea when this video was out, so I have no idea how far down into my
oh
favorites it
my.
is. But yeah,
The Vine Arm amputee. Is it by? Oh, this is from the National Museum of Scotland. It's a
oh,
blonde lady.
I think so. Like literally all I remember is the vine arm. So
Oh my. Oh wow, that's wild. I think. Hold on, wait. I think I have an option to screen share.
oh,
Uh,
you probably do because it's probably this share thing that I didn't know what it did. That's probably what I was supposed to
this lady.
press.
Oh.
Yep, there it
Mm-hmm.
goes. Yes,
There we
like
go. That's so tight.
yeah,
Like, oh my god, people are so cool. I
yeah,
can't. Vina, publicly funded science for Vine arms for everybody. I'm
like
into it.
listen. Oh my god, I hate the way that research is set up currently because like it's so boring. There's so many amazing things people can make like
Mhm.
if they tried, but they don't, and it sucks.
I Dude, so I think the issue is less of like a try thing, and more so like a value, and what sort of things we actually put out there, from like a like news perspective, right? Like there's this
Oh
whole thing,
yeah,
like people talk about how like now that Biden's president, we barely hear anything about Biden fucking up at all. You know what I mean? Or even doing anything.
mm-hmm.
But like when Trump was president, we heard about every shit that man took. You know what I mean?
Right,
And it is sort of an example of how like narratives are sort of formed, right?
yeah,
And how they kind of control the narrative to a degree. And in that sense, same with like scientific studies and things of that nature. They really don't. It's not important to like the interests of capital. Like no one really gives a shit that they're curing shit left and right, and that we're figuring out all types of fun stuff if it's not super glamorous. Like there's
yeah.
some really interesting research about like Alzheimer's being done across like colleges and like biology departments, where they're like learning about scrubbing brains of like plaque or something. My friend was explaining this to me. But yeah, apparently Alzheimer's is like plaque in your brain that causes fuzzy spots or something. I could be completely wrong, but that's how they described it, I think.
Mm.
But like they're dissecting flies to figure out ways to like fix the problem and prevent it. It's so cool, so nifty, but you don't really hear about that's sexy and like it can't freak people out, you know?
Yeah. It's like, sucks.
But I think with like an allocation of funding that goes to not only interesting presentation, because there was this dance company that I was a part of a few years back. Well, I'm still kind of a part of them. We just haven't done anything in a while because of COVID. But there's this dance company I've done gigs with called Hammer Step, and for a while they were specifically working towards a show that both did scientific sort of presentation and like exploration. They were trying to work with Bell Technologies to create an immersive theater experience of a cyberpunk sort of Matrix world, right? So the idea was these guys would or not these guys, but like the audience would walk in, and they're walking through essentially a living, breathing show where some actors are walking around kind of freely, and you can be like, "Hey, what's going on?" They'll be like, "Hi, I'm Storm Butt Computer Face, and I'm part of the rebellion, and blah blah blah. This is what's happening in this cyborg version of New York City." And then you might run in, and then during scheduled times, during different rooms and such, different like dance performances or scripted scenes would happen, right? And all throughout this, they want to utilize technology, different like new technologies, utilizing like sound distortion, right? Like one of the things that they wanted to do was like have use this technology to essentially, like, if you walked into this one spot and that one spot only, there was like an isolated like line or like conversation that only you can hear if you happen to get into that spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the show's kind of like a puzzle. You know what I mean? You can watch just all the stuff, but on top of that, they were trying, because it's like a cyberpunk thing. Sorry, I'm bouncing all around. They wanted to use things from Bell Technologies, like camera drones and other like sound, where they were using sound waves to essentially make stuff float. And they were trying to pitch the idea of using that technology to create like invisible staircases or like flying scenes without the use of like wires and shit. So like, right. But there's not like a whole shit ton of money to present technology in that way. So if, you had the seat of power, you could be like, hey man, let's put out all these shows, fund a bunch of artists to then display a bunch of this science shit and get everybody excited about like technology,
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I never would have thought of that, but you're right. Like, I could totally do that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, because I totally could see that would totally work, but I totally would never have thought of that.
Well, listen, you can use that arts, science, put them together. It'd be great. Have some people dancing on the ceiling, floating, wild. But
really cool.
Yeah, that's oh my god, that just like being the sort of like a step away from being able to like get into a lab and like play was such a cool idea, and it really sucks that things didn't quite pan out in that direction. But like, would have been so cool. I think that's one way of like really, getting people excited about, fucking the world developing. I kind of hate Elon Musk, like, just as a fucking, like, I hate.
Oh my god, he's the worst.
He sucks, dude. He's
you know what the real problem is? He always sucked. But like the way that he showed up made it seem like he was okay.
Right.
And then he like the moment he had enough money and everyone had like enough of his cars had sold, he immediately became just like this massive douchebag.
Oh, oh my god. It's like the visage cracked. Because at first I was just like, okay, electric car guy.
Yeah.
Cool. Right? And then I found out, then you like slowly peel back everything. And there's the one damning thing that most of his money came from, like the emerald mines and whatnot of apartheid and shit, which is like gross. But
Yeah.
what's even worse is like most of his money comes from like PayPal and Cash App and like Venmo. He just came up with the idea for sending people money online. Good job, buddy. Or like or he put I think also one of his first projects was putting like a phone book online. Like, innovative. Oh man, that's like when it's when I show my parents how to do something with a PDF and they're like, "You're a technological wizard," and I'm like, "Yes, I am. I know computers."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And oh my god, why do all these rich assholes want to go to space? Like, shit sucks over here.
Because they don't want to share the planet with us. That's what I always assumed that. Like, they don't want to share the planet with us. So
yeah,
like,
you're
go
right.
to space.
I kind of like. I want them to go and get stuck, but I want to go to space. I don't want to go be on like Elon Musk space travel or Amazon Galaxy. Fuck that.
Like, I like space, and if we lived in like the future with like, I don't know, any of them, Cowboy Bebop, then
Right.
I'd go to space. But no, I'm not getting on. I'm not. Again, granted, there's no chance of me getting on this spaceship. But
if you're president, you might. You got to dream
if I'm
big,
president,
man.
I better have my own. But that aside,
sure. It'll be on the Space Force.
Yes.
That's still a thing.
It is. That's why I said yes. I mean, it's still a thing. I didn't.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm just that was something. The fact that like it's a thing and we haven't like reversed that. We're still spending anyway. Go ahead. I'm interrupting you. You were saying. I'm just having an existential crisis.
No, it's fine. I mean, we're technically all still having a collective existential crisis.
Right.
I'm just saying, I'm not getting on this shit. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, again, let them. They can all go to space. I'm not.
They can do it. We don't need them. Like here.
We literally don't.
We'd probably be better off without them. I want. You know what I really would like, and I don't know how well you can do this or how likely you'd be able to do this as president, but if you can ban the Legendary Pictures version of Godzilla, that would be great.
Wait a second. Okay, you mean like all of them, or like?
There's all of them. Just take the rights to Godzilla away from Legendary.
Okay. First, I'm going to say you're not wrong. I don't think the president has a choice in that, but you're not wrong. But since we're going down this road, I have to ask you. I have to ask you specifically what your problems are with these movies.
Okay. One, I kind of hate the there's the alpha signal from the second one. You know what I mean? There's a really, really weird, like, pseudo alpha male science thing that they were trying to push throughout the second film.
Yes.
The first movie was essentially the 1999 Godzilla movie with a slightly different tone. Like, it's the same, like almost the same beats. Like they're with the same solution. They got to get a bomb to the nest, and Godzilla just also happened to be there. While I really enjoyed the Mutos in the first one, like I thought that they I feel like a lot of people thought they were really boring. I thought that they were a really, really cool monster. I thought that they were modern, they were sleek. It was cool. I appreciated it. I did not appreciate the fact that I wanted a Ken Watanabe and fucking what's his name? Oh my god, I'm losing his name. Bryan Cranston, fucking scientist buddy monster movie. I was looking forward to Bryan Cranston being like, God, I'm gonna take Godzilla down at any cost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? And then and I'm fine with Kick-Ass. He's a great actor. I actually really appreciate him as Quicksilver. I'm really pissed that he died. However, I did not give a single fuck about him and the fact that his sister and him were married in that movie. Super weird.
I mean, you're right, and I knew that. It's gonna caught me off guard. But yes.
Like, they're not actually related. I know this. I can separate, reality from fiction. I'm not completely delusional, but it's still weird. I just feel like if you play brother and sister and that's like a major role that you took on that is going to continue, maybe you should avoid taking on opposite romantic leads of each other, because it's just icky. That and they ruined like King Ghidorah way too early. I feel like King Ghidorah should have been Mechagodzilla and then King Ghidorah. I would have appreciated that. I also think that like the King Kong versus Godzilla is basically just an acid trip with lizard versus monkey. Like, it's great. The lizard fought the monkey.
Yeah.
But and but I had so many questions, and these movies are already pretty silly. Like the Japanese films are not, masterpieces or whatever. There are some really interesting, sort of commentary that you can get from them. And I think that Toho has done a really great job with the Shin Godzilla film, which was like the most recent Japanese iteration. Have you seen it?
Of course I've seen it.
Okay. So super fucking tight. Amazing film. Super scary. And I think that it really brought it back into this like sort of horror era that it originated in. And I think that like the American version right now is like there's just this really weird, like everything is destroyed, but we're happy about it feeling. Like why everyone's watching, like the city's completely decimated. Hawaii is fucked up by the end of the first like 2014 Godzilla, and they're all just standing on the beach like, bye Godzilla, we love you.
Who's calling me? I don't get calls.
It's the CIA.
Oh my god.
Stop your broadcast. We know what you're doing.
I have no idea who that was. I will check that message.
Right.
Anyway. So yeah. Listen.
Oh man.
I wanted to like these movies.
Mm-hmm.
Then the movies came out, and I was disappointed each time, but for different reasons. And that's because they learned their lesson from each movie. But they still didn't end up being good movies.
No.
Like you said, like the first one, like everyone knows what the issue with that one was. And yes, that was that Bryan Cranston died like a half an hour in. And that was that. And also, like you were saying about Elizabeth Olsen and Quicksilver, whose name I don't think I will ever know.
Oh my god, I thought I knew. Quicksilver. He's Quicksilver now.
But also, they could have been written as anybody because they weren't even in the movie together, except in like the beginning and the very end. So it's weird that they went out of their way to make them married. And then the second one, which I actually hated, again, for the reason that you said too, but also just because, in order to get around the budgeting for all the monster stuff, we made it all like pitch black on like most of it.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even see anything. And I don't technically have a complaint about the ordering, because King Ghidorah was always my favorite, because I'm a basic bitch. But because of the lighting of that movie, I couldn't get to see him. So there was that, which again is purely a personal thing. But, that's how movies work. That's why people go see these movies.
Yeah, exactly. And I was gonna say the burning Godzilla and the like Mothra fusion thing that
Mm,
they did. While I appreciate it, they've done that before. Like it's canon and whatnot.
yeah.
I really disliked the use of burning Godzilla in this film. I think that burning Godzilla has a very particular context. He has a very particular emotional weight, and
Mm,
it's very personal to me. But like I remember watching like Godzilla versus Destroya the entire time, like fucking like with tears in my eyes. I probably still do this as an adult. Like I haven't watched the movie in a while, but I do remember watching that movie and feeling like just like Godzilla's gonna die. Got like he's overheating. He's literally
yeah.
done everything that he can, and there's no way of stopping this. And then like they literally have been a creature created from the very thing that like, oh my god, it was so cool, it's so good, you know what I mean? And maybe this is my nostalgia talking, but they just they fucked it up for like 5 minutes, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just it felt so unearned. And like I know there were so many people who were just fucking rock hard because like they
Right. Again,
included it.
like
And
the I don't know, the plasma orb when it just obliterated him. Like I'm sure, like you're right. Like when that happened, I'm sure like I liked the way it looked.
yeah, visually so fucking cool. You know what I mean?
But
But
yeah.
yeah. Oh, it's a love-hate thing. I'm like, and that's why they need to be stopped.
Mm. And as far as King Kong versus Godzilla go, Kong versus Godzilla, whatever.
Mhm.
That movie was nothing but a fight between two dudes in like in the street, and it's so weird because that's literally how they filmed it. Especially at the end when he picked up the axe and he could sense it, drilled through the earth, and literally yelled at him, "I'ma kick your ass for touching whatever you touched." And it's
Right.
like,
You better come up here. I'm gonna kick your ass.
yeah, that's legitimately what happened. Listen, I
Like
like
the plot of the movie is you Kong got in Godzilla's breathing space and he didn't like, and I took that personally.
yeah, that's exactly what happened. Listen, I technically love the plot, the way that this movie went. Like, the third one is my favorite movie,
Mm-hmm.
technically,
Right.
because like the order, the way that I process this movie and why I like it so much is I want to get the fuck out of this dome that you guys have me in. Okay, fine. We're all across the ocean. I don't know who you are, but I don't like you. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yep.
And then he played dead. It's like, that's what I thought. And he swam away.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out that he's been attacking these places because they've been experimenting with his head.
Right.
So that's been what's going on. And then again, the before mentioned I'm gonna kick your ass scene in the middle of Hawaii. And
Right.
then Mechagodzilla woke up and then overloaded, and at that point it was just Ghidorah, who then broke out and said, "Oh, it's you again. Who the fuck are you? Don't worry about that. I'm gonna kick your ass this time." And then Godzilla and Kong destroyed it, and they had this
Mm-hmm.
weird face-off. Tell me I'm better than you. No. Tell me I'm better than you. You know what? Fuck this. I'm not fighting you anymore. So I'm better than you. That's not what I said. Yeah, that's what you meant. I'm leaving. And that's what happened. Tell me that's not what the movie.
Basically, yeah. That's the whole.
Like,
That is literally it. It was two guys. Yeah, they were just two
and
bros that don't see eye to eye and never will.
yeah,
And
it's
it's
just.
so. You know what? You know what really annoyed the shit out of me is there was no setup for Mechagodzilla.
No.
Like I knew he was coming because the internet can't not spoil anything anymore. For some reason, we all have to analyze the absolute shit out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first trailer, there is a scene, there's like a real quick clip that you can see of Mechagodzilla, but like if you blink, you miss it type thing.
Yeah,
And
I know.
people,
Yeah.
yep. And it's like immediately that screenshot was everywhere. And I was like, oh, they're gonna be friends at the end because Mechagodzilla is gonna show up.
So again, like I'm gonna tell, like I wasn't. Well, I was surprised that they went with Mechagodzilla because when they kept his head at the end, I was like, how are you? How can you make Mecha go?
King Ghidorah.
Yes. How can you make Mecha Ghidorah from just his head? So that's what I
Right.
was wondering because I knew what they were. Because I thought I knew what they were going with this originally. I just thought, maybe
Yeah,
the
Mecha King
body was
Ghidorah.
still like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I wasn't. Once I found out what the movie was, I knew it was still going to end the same way. I just thought it was going to be Mecha King Ghidorah.
Right.
So, I wasn't. But you're right because that it is what happened. I'm just saying, like, it can only be like so. It was only like so much a surprise from how they ended it because, like, also the people who write these movies, especially these movies, they don't. They're not subtle.
No.
So,
Not at all. There was most certainly like so to get let me just become Charlie Kelly for a second, Pepe Sylvia about this movie. And
sure.
my issue with the second one and like the sort of alpha signal that all of the monsters sent out or the big monsters sent out, there was this thing of like, oh, these guys are big and strong and they could essentially murder us all, but at least
Right.
they're on our side type of thing. And it's this weird pseudo authoritarian thing that they're saying. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
the Godzilla, like we have our human society and whatever, but Godzilla's technically our ruler because he can destroy anything. And we should just acquiesce to whatever because, what are we going to do against nuclear breath?
You
You
know
know what
what
I
it
mean?
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Reptar from the Rugrats.
Okay.
Because again, Reptar, because the movies were the same. He destroyed the city and he would fight a monster. Because again, Reptar, because it was based off like the original movies.
Yeah.
So they played out the same. But the way that the baby saw it was that Godzilla was the good guy. The way that all the kids saw it was that he was the good guy. That's why he got like,
Mm-hmm.
The candy bars and the cereal and that ice show
Yeah.
that was terrible. Anyway, my point is, it's like if they're the ones who grew up and made this movie.
Yeah.
In the way, because again, like even the original Toho movies, because some of those movies went the same way. Godzilla would show up, and then the monster he was fighting would show up, and then we would have to fight whoever, whether it was some random thing from space, Mechagodzilla, or King Ghidorah, who refuses to goddamn die.
He does not. He will never die. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
There was definitely it very much feels like a monster of the week sort of Showa era Godzilla because or like late Showa era, right? Because you're a Godzilla nerd, right? Like Showa, Heisei, Millennium.
Yes, I'm not like super into it, but I do know the eras. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So for people who don't know Godzilla, right, the fucking Showa era is like the 70s, and that technically includes the like first two films, which Godzilla. No, I think Godzilla Raids Again. I'm mixing up 80s movies, but anyway, the first like 1954 Godzilla, right, horror movie, wins like Best Picture, is super scary and shit. Then you get into the Showa era where you've got more so the monster of the week style, Godzilla's for the kids. You've got like really goofy shit like the victory dance that he does.
I knew you were gonna. Yeah.
And then he's got the fucking the kick,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that's all well and good. You know what I mean? But then once you get into the Heisei era, the 90s, and the millennium, you see, and even further with Shin Godzilla, which I don't know what we're calling this era. I don't even know if Toho is doing more Godzilla movies. Who knows? Anyway,
Yeah, I don't even think they decided that, but yeah.
Right. There's a stronger sense of the natural threat that is Godzilla. You know what I mean? The 90s era, he's like, yeah, you get fights between him and other big monsters, but for the most part, those big monsters are either, I think Godzilla Raids Again, that's the movie I was thinking about, is Godzilla versus Anguirus. That's the first, sort of thing about Anguirus. And there is some analysis to it that it's like still within that sort of, it was trying to go back into into that spooky, scary kind of era. And it was also sort of discussing this the nature of Japan in the Cold War. Because like Anguirus, some people freaking argue is a representation of Russia, while King Ghidorah is like a representation of China to a certain extent, and Godzilla is the United States. Right. And King Kong is is Japan, interestingly enough. Which is really, really funny because when King Kong and versus Godzilla came to the States, they wanted to do some edits because they were like, there's certain context that we have to shift a little bit, and also we're going to make America look good, right?
Because I did hear about that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they added a whole like news broadcast scene right in the beginning, and I think they added some other extra scenes that I don't remember off the top of my head. But this one was like it was literally like, hey, look at Godzilla, he's got a tiny pea brain versus King Kong's big ol' near human brain, and Godzilla's real fucking stupid. And they interpreted it, as like Godzilla is Japan and he is the power of Japan, and they were trying to frame it so that Godzilla looked like the loser. However, completely misunderstanding the fact that the tiny smaller underdog versus the big nuclear powered lizard. Yeah. So there's just already like a history of goofing and not understanding it, but it's really, really funny because there are these interesting like things that you can take from these films and see how the shift in the framing and the narratives over time creates a completely like a really interesting socio-political commentary. Like even Shin Godzilla is like all about Japanese bureaucracy, Yeah,
that was insane. That was
right. Everyone just keeps getting fired, and it just keeps getting piled onto this one dude, and he's just like, I don't know how to deal with Godzilla.
That was, oh man, and I like that's because Godzilla as a series is like really strange to watch. Because like the first one too. Because I feel like, again, don't quote me on this, because I'm not even good at like analyzing actual like movies in general. But like the first one, because Shin Godzilla was definitely made based off of the first one. I mean, like not only because it was his first appearance, but just in the way that he specifically attacked at every time he showed up, especially the last time he showed up when he just like, because everyone, I know this was done on purpose, but like the way that they set up the first time he ever used his plasma breath was insane. Especially when his mouth opened. That shit actually creeped me out.
Yeah. It was terrifying.
Like, because you always knew it was going to happen. So when it actually happened, it's just like, that is not what I was expecting at all.
No.
And I don't know who I was watching on YouTube, because this was like when the movie actually came out, so this is like a couple of years ago. But they were talking about, they were talking about how they went to both premieres, one here and the other one in Japan. And he was talking about the difference in the reaction from that scene
Okay.
in how the people over here, like wherever he was in America, they all like lost their minds. They all were like cheering and whatever, as compared to in Japan when that shit was traumatic.
Right.
Because like the way that he put it, I have to find because I know who this is, but I don't watch like their actual stuff. Anyway,
right.
It was based because again, like the scene essentially, the way that he interpreted it is that it was based off of when they actually dropped the bomb. So this is traumatic shit. It's
right.
like, I mean, damn.
Right.
Gaijin Goomba.
Oh, I love Gaijin Goomba. I haven't watched his videos in a while, but he makes good stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, so
no, it's
I don't know.
And no, you're good. I was gonna say, like you said, that's such an interesting difference in the reception of that because, like, from an American standpoint, like there was a point where I was like, yeah, Godzilla fucking fire breath. I just cared about Godzilla in the context of he is a really cool destructive monster, right? And there is a really interesting art, like role in art and whatnot, and as I think I'm becoming a little bit more open to the idea of like spirituality and religion in my life. I used to be like a really devout anti-theist, but like I'm still pretty much atheistic and consider myself like as part of I have a membership to the Church of Satan or Temple of Satan, but consider myself a Satanist, although I'm not like practicing. I just really, really vibe with the shit that they've been doing lately in regards to religious freedom. Anyway, that tangent. But looking at things like Marvel and Godzilla and pop culture as our cultural myths and, how the different attachments we have to different characters can show people's values and like their own sort of personal mythology, because I think that religion is very much a personal thing. And I think there is a level of like, because we're so close to, comic books and all this stuff, and it's presented in such a, like you're you're a nerd or whatever. Like being like, oh yeah, I'm a Marvel nerd kind of sounds a lot like I'm a fucking this particular version of Christian. Like I acknowledge these particular stories of Spider-Man, but not this canon.
It totally is. Listen, in like 1,000 years or 50, depending on how we're going, when aliens show up and they like just start going through the ruins that was this city, these people, they're gonna think they're gonna read into comic books the same way that we read into religious texts now. People are just, it's literally the exact same thing. I mean, you're not even like close. You're not even like slightly wrong. It's
oh man, it's so funny. And there was have you ever, oh man, I can't remember this movie, but it's got Woody Harrelson and I think Josh Hartnett in it. And it's kind of this like stylized, I don't want to say it's low budget. I don't know who the director is, but it kind of has what's that guy that directed Sin City? Robert Rodriguez, I think is the guy. He also did Shark Boy and Lava Girl, which is like that guy. But it's kind of like a rock.
I was for his kid, but I get what you're saying.
No. It's that's so cool. Like honestly, I commend Shark Boy and Lava Girl as a film. Like it's super creative, also really fucking wacky. But like it's also just like this guy made both of these things.
Listen,
but it's kind of got like a Robert Rodriguez sort of low budget but high artistic value feeling to it. And so Woody Harrelson sort of plays like your sort of Morpheus character, the guy that leads your main character through his journey, right? Mentor type guy. And Josh Hartnett is our main character, our Neo, so to speak. And he's got a revenge plot, and he's trying to kill some guy. He's got a punch that can kill people in one hit. It's great. It's basically One Punch Man. Yeah. It's One Punch Man, the movie. but there's a scene where Woody Harrelson is like, oh yeah, this is one of our ancient picture books about this god Arachnidus, right? And Arachnidus has the powers of a spider, and when he got his powers, his dying uncle told him about great power and great responsibility. You know, so that sort of Spider-Man being a religious text was like a thing in that movie, and I was just like, oh, oh, look at that. Look at how that could be. You know what I mean? And that's a really interesting thing. You know, where another movie is like, hey, same idea. So that's where I kind of got it from. You know, I was just like, oh shit. Wait, I do sometimes think, what would Spider-Man do in this situation?
Oh yeah, like people do that all the time.
It's amazing. And honestly, if you follow the teachings of Spider-Man, I might follow you into battle. Who knows? But back, just like back to the Godzilla thing. It's really, I think it's super weird, and obviously there's a point to the whole shifting of the narrative of the films, especially with, the stark contrast of both of these versions, the Legendary Pictures and the newest Toho, where it's like, yeah, let's gawk in awe at the destruction versus let's acknowledge the pain and fear of what happened so many years ago.
Yeah, because like all three of these movies, they go through like multiple cities.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, all right, on to the next place. But like, no, wait a second.
Right. Like, so many people died.
Like, because I know, what's her name? 11, Millie Bobby Brown. She's in like all three of these movies. No,
just the second.
Is she in the first?
Second and third.
Okay, second and third.
Yep.
So this is like the course of, but again, like she was alive in the first one, right? She just wasn't in it. She's like, I don't know, 16 something.
Yeah.
My point is, these people are still rebuilding. They're still rebuilding the stuff from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that just happened,
right?
And now Godzilla literally drilled a hole in the goddamn planet. That's
no one is reacting to the fact that there is literal like other planet and ecosystem under the earth. No one bats an eye. They're just like, oh, okay, I guess that. Like, there's no reaction to any of the shit that's happening, and it's so weird. Like, the only news stories and moments that we get are, like, in the beginning, and it's like, okay, the news exists in this universe.
Yeah.
But no one reacts to these things like a normal person. Everyone is just either super invested in figuring out what's going on with Godzilla, or they're transporting his best friend.
And now these people just signed up to live down here now and watch him. Like, wait a second. I want to see that movie. I want to see because this going into the jungle. I mean, like, I may not be able to get a boat, but hypothetically, I could still build a raft and sail off this island. I can't. Mm-hmm. That was the point. I can't get back up now. Because that was the whole setup. I'm stuck here now. I don't know. Like,
the thing is, like, Godzilla's not even, like, they register Godzilla kind of as a problem, but they didn't think, let's try and push Godzilla in the hole. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the fight ended and Mechagodzilla was destroyed. Okay, cool. Godzilla is still an active threat. We know that there's a place. That's fine. There's literally just a playground where Godzilla.
Listen.
They could push him in the hole, and he'd be happy. He could just go
it's fine,
and murder to his heart's desire.
No, it's fine because the teenager told all of us that he was only acting up because they were building the robot, and then the other little girl who could do sign language told us that King Kong is cool. It's fine.
It's fine.
And that's what happened, because these people stood here and watched. They stood there and watched while they are they gonna fight? Because they didn't move. They were all just there. They
No
watched it
sense of
happen.
like. Not only that, tried to get in. Someone had to go and give fucking King Kong a little at one point too. And then it's like, I got this. Let's go.
His heart of gold moment, or whatever you want to call it. Oh my god, that movie drives me insane. Ugh.
I want to watch it again now.
I mean, I am. Like, I love that movie, but god, that movie sucks.
Like, it's like the visuals are so amazing when you're watching them. Like, the fight is awesome. There was a point where Mechagodzilla had Godzilla's head in his hand, and he was like mushing his face into buildings. Yeah. It was so satisfying. That was one of the coolest giant monster things I have ever seen in my goddamn lifetime. And I'm so glad that I live in this era to see shit like that.
Yeah, because I like Mechagodzilla too.
Right. But now I feel like he was kind of wasted. Now we don't get a whole, like, Mechagodzilla is a whole movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. There are, I think, 8 Mechagodzilla films. I wanna say there's 8. I could be wrong, and there's probably like 6. I think there's 2 per era. But still, he's like, if there are 3 people like that Godzilla fucks with and fights on a regular, or like has a rivalry with, it's King Kong, King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. And now they can't do a Mechagodzilla plot unless they do like an alien Mechagodzilla, but they'll probably just combine it with Space Godzilla and ruin that one too.
Yeah. So
also, can we just acknowledge the fact that I'm wearing the hold on, I gotta tuck in my pants for the meme to work.
Okay.
You're gonna know it's gonna hit as soon as you realize.
I'm not sure it is, but we'll see what happens.
Jake, stop! You're gonna get in trouble. Stop.
Listen, I don't know as much about. I feel like I know what you're doing, but I don't know enough about memes to recall what it is.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm gonna find it.
Okay, cool. You do that. Anyway.
Oh, Zach, stop. It's not Jake, stop. It's Zach, stop.
Wait.
All right, hold on. Let me screen share real quick.
No, I got it. Okay. I have seen that. Wow.
Legendary. He got in trouble.
I mean, he's a threat to everyone.
He's a menace.
Yeah.
Did you see those kicks?
Oh my god. But yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I technically want them to make more movies. I don't.
Right.
But
we want more Godzilla, but we don't want them making it.
Yeah, like, and that's true. I would much rather if Legendary gave all of their MonsterVerse budget to the people who made Shin Godzilla.
Right?
And, like, just put your name on it. Like,
yeah, just produced by. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know? You'll get a credit. You'll still make millions. Yeah. But, yeah. Wait, I'm going to go run downstairs. Had to do a sick kick to get back in.
No, I saw that.
Thank you. Whew. I hate living on the 3rd floor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, God. You know what is one of my favorite things? Is when people comment on my videos, like talking about income inequality or anything like vaguely about people getting paid more. The first thing that people say is, oh, coming from this guy's mom's basement. And like my windows are in full view. You can see trees outside. I'm on I'm above ground.
Listen, people have like the list of insults is like 10 things.
Yeah, that's literally it. And some people, oh my god, there are some I'm not like the most educated person in any particular topic. I have a cursory knowledge of a lot of things. You know, I did go to college for a little bit, dropped out, but like,
Yeah, same.
you know, I know how to study and whatnot and kind of keep myself vaguely informed. But like, there are some people I've noticed that will say one word. Like I posted something about how the minimum wage should be something around like $30, right?
Yeah.
Because there are some serious arguments that like because of inflation, because of the buying power of the dollar versus from now versus like the '70s.
That's where it should be if it had kept going and they didn't, fuck everything up with trickle down economics. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so a bunch of people are just like literally I have comments of people just in all caps going inflation, 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 inflation. And I'm like, you can't inflation is not a magic word. It is not it's not a spell that you're just invoking that immediately makes you right. Like you actually have to understand how inflation works. And it's like, guess what's been happening despite wages not going up? Everything inflating.
Yeah.
Oh god, it hurts my brain. It also leaves me with lots of entertainment and also anxiety because some of those people are older than me and have positions of power. And I'm like,
yeah.
what are you doing?
It's so weird to me how much, because I get why rich people are fighting to keep everything the same. You want to keep all your money. I get that.
Right.
But like, you
If I
guys
was a dragon, I'd hoard my gold too.
But like, some of you are in places that are worse than mine. What are you arguing with me for?
It's because some people they're not poor. They're temporarily embarrassed millionaires. It's it's this concept of like the American dream and American exceptionalism that tells you that you will be successful. You must be because you live in America.
Oh, I do. I know what you're talking about. I didn't know. I didn't know that this had a. I didn't know this had a name.
Oh yeah, it does. It's weird. It's so weird. I love that there's like so many names for things. It's so fun. It's
wow. That's
you know what
an
I mean?
Amazing name though.
Right. Oh fuck. What was it? What did I say again? The effect of like
momentarily embarrassed.
Yeah, momentarily embarrassed billionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not necessarily defending billionaires. They are defending their own perception that they one day will be billionaires or millionaires.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's a lot of the propaganda that we sort of I don't want to. I'm trying to get away from phrases like we tell ourselves because I didn't tell myself that I could be a billionaire. I never wanted to be a billionaire.
That's true.
I don't give a shit about money, honestly. But
yeah.
I need it to live. However, a lot of things in my life, movies, TV, and whatnot, really are just like you need to be rich to be successful, or the goal is to become rich, or if you're poor, be really, really okay with it because you've got gumption.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, one, I don't need to be rich to be happy, but I don't fuck gumption.
Right. Like, dude, I really like there's this it's the shameless effect. You know what I mean? That's not a technical term or anything. I just said it. But people talk about how shameless is sort of what is it, like poverty porn? You know what I mean? It
is. Yeah.
It gives you this sort of like really skewed view of how poverty works and like how people get by, and romanticizes it in this very, very particular way that helps people sort of ignore the realities of the actual like terror and horror that is being a poor person, especially in the United States.
But see, that's the problem. there was so many TV shows that do that. And like the one that comes to mind, like immediately, is like Married with Children.
Okay.
Because like because like Al was the only one that made money, and all he did was run. He ran the shoe store, and yet somehow they were able to afford like this 2-level house. Like the implication is that the house is like complete shit, but even if this house was made out of like boards of wood just set next to each other, we couldn't afford a house like that.
Yeah, no. my family, when my parents got married, my biological parents split. I live with my mom. My mom remarried when I was like 5 or 6. But like through some grit and whatnot, my folks moved from one tax bracket to another. We went from like a small place in this like kind of not like shitty neighborhood, but like for a town in Connecticut that's pretty ritzy. It's the shitty part of town that I technically grew up in. But it was still like relatively nice. I lived across the street from a fucking beach. You know what I mean? Like shit was chill. Yeah. I wasn't. Yeah, I didn't experience like the poverty or like the hood. You know what I mean? We were just like the least well off people in this like coastal town, right?
Right.
But my mom remarried. She had work and gigs and businesses, and my dad also like started his own business, like appraising houses and whatnot. So he takes photos of shit. Moved up into another tax bracket, and we were like, "Ooh, we're in the money" type shit. But even at that point, like my both of my folks ran like businesses that were fairly successful, and our house was not as nice as like Al Bundy's fucking house. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's a very strange sort of thing to see, because it's like, what are they telling you? You know what I mean? Like people, I don't know if you could get a house like that big on a single shoe store income these days.
Can't. Like I don't know anything about the housing market in, I guess, before their kids were born, so like the early 80s or something, the 70s, whenever. I don't know anything about the housing market back then, but I know that working in a shoe store in a mall is like above minimum wage, maybe.
Right.
Because I guess technically you'd be like the manager of the store. So yeah, like above minimum wage.
Was he the manager? I thought he was just like a regular old salesman.
Well, technically I guess he was, but he was like the only one there. I don't know if that makes any difference.
Yeah, more so just like painting the picture for me, just because I've worked in malls. My first job was at the mall at Zoomies. That's where I get my, hey, how you doing?
Fair enough.
Oh my God, no, that's just me. But honestly, that place was so just tangent about Zoomies. They encourage you to be the most annoying person ever, and like. I like being nice to people, and I understand like the use for customer service and being like, hey man, those are some cool shoes. You would probably like these shoes. But like the Zoomies thing was like, you better become best friends with them, man. That's gonna be your buddy for the next until the sale is over. And I'm just like, yeah, like I can't do this. I am trying way too hard, and you are way too satisfied with this. I don't have a reputation to consider, but man, this is making me feel cringy.
I feel like I should have a reputation for the sake of not doing this.
Exactly. But that being said, I think as a salesman you'd be making like $7.25 or something, $8.
Yeah.
But like as a manager, you were probably pulling like, I don't know, I don't want to say somewhere between like $40,000 and like $60,000 a year, which isn't like not a lot of money, but for a family, I don't think that that's enough.
It's not, like, exactly. Like, I mean, it's not, like, because, like, they lived in, like, Chicago, I think.
Oh, wow.
I don't know where they live. I honestly forgot. I know they live in somewhere that's, like, expensive. Because that's why the Darcys moved in. Anyway, my point is, like, I'm going to this weird deep dive on Married with Children. My point
I'm
is,
here for it though.
my point is that in media, people they set up people who have jobs which and like houses and stuff which they couldn't afford if they really had that job.
Mm-hmm. Oh, most certainly. Like, Friends is a great example. You know,
Oh, it is.
like Joey and fucking Chandler is quite possibly one of the. No, actually, no. I know a Joey and Chandler. Never mind.
Okay.
It just, it's an anecdotal evidence, but at the same time, it might be an archetype. But the broke friend and the really well off friend,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like Chandler canonically, I am just revealing how white I am right now. This is awesome. Um, but Chandler canonically has paid for essentially everything for the first, I want to say, 3 to 4 seasons, because Joey's acting career, for the most part, is abysmal up until
No,
like the 4th season.
no, you're right. And like yeah, you're right. Like because they also kind of bring it up because like they bring it up like relatively a lot because
Mm-hmm.
like a couple of episodes like especially in like the one episode especially in the one episode where they went to dinner and
Mm-hmm.
they had like a steak not a stakeout a strike
Right.
because like he was an actor with a gosh his career in the beginning was just garbage which again you were starting out actor I get that but still um Phoebe was trying to become a masseuse why or she was still
Mm-hmm.
just playing music or whatever
Mm-hmm.
and I know there was I forget. Oh, and Rachel, because
Mm-hmm.
she was still working as a waitress.
Right. At the coffee shop.
Yeah,
Weirdly enough, she fucking, I don't know. Yeah, no, it just didn't make sense.
but yeah. So
But you were saying something about the steak dinner or something. What was
oh,
the issue with their steaks?
well, I mean, it wasn't actually an issue. My point is that the three of them actually had like no money at any given time because his acting career was like still starting off, and she was only
Mm-hmm.
working as a waitress at the coffee shop. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what Phoebe was living when she was still just trying to become a musician. Like, I actually don't know.
I feel like Phoebe is the only person who reasonably had like enough work, because she was a masseuse, I think, throughout the entire thing, and
Okay.
like she always had like a pretty good amount of clients. And I'm
Hmm.
assuming, so my sort of headcanon for it is, I know that Rachel's family is super rich. Like her arc at a
Yeah.
point was like her trying to get away from daddy's money.
Right.
Um, and I'm assuming that, so Joe was borrowing money from Chandler. I think that
Right.
Rachel was helping fund Monica, while also Ross was helping fund Monica, because that's his baby sister, you know,
Hmm.
and he's gonna do whatever. And then Phoebe, every once in a while, would like secretly slip Joey some cash because she has a soft spot for him.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
But like, it still doesn't make any sense because most of them were not doing very well
No.
uh, at all. And those apartments were huge.
Yeah. Like,
You know what I mean? And like when I was broken in college, living with a bunch of my friends, or at least a couple of my friends, or even now as an adult, you know, most of the places that I've lived in were kind of shoddy and very small and didn't have a lot of space. I'm very lucky to have
hmm.
a huge room now. You know what I mean? But that's just like most stuff is like, you know, you're in everybody's butt.
Right. Oh, man.
But no, it gives a very weird sort of vision of how, fucking economics really work in it. And I think it distorts people's ideas. Like there's even like this is kind of unrelated, or well, it's related. So there was a point in time where like we were discussing going through the trials of what was it? Not Nuremberg. What was that shit? Stuff that was going down in Guantanamo Bay, right?
Hmm.
And you know the fucking U.S. government was like torturing insurgents and such. Um, the someone was defending the actions being taken against foreign nationals in the Jack Bauer from 24 justifying like being torturing people to get information, and like Jack Bauer solved the case through torture, so we should be able to torture.
I
Like
remember,
it's such a
yeah.
like that happened. There is
Yeah.
a man who has power that believes that something he saw on television justifies his actions in the real world in
Because
a court of
it
law.
also, it wasn't like just Jack Bauer. It was also that other show that was on Showtime, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Showtime. She was this woman. I mean, she was like captured. She like went missing when she was still overseas. I think again, I never watched the show because I don't have Showtime. But I think the essence of the show
Mm-hmm.
is trying to figure out if she's like a double agent or if she is a double agent. It's her. I don't know, but
Wait, La Femme
no,
Nikita?
that's a different show. I don't know what the show is
No.
called. Actually, I know
Okay.
it came on like Showtime.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that yes, like because when all of those shows again that started from 24 started, people just like use like all of them as an excuse now for like
Mm-hmm.
no reason.
It's
It was
very
like
it's even like stuff like Law and Order SVU or any sort of cop show that you know the procedurals. They've
yeah,
got they've got this. They give you this sort of sense that there are these super cops that are out there solving crimes and busting criminals like fucking Sherlock Holmes,
mm-hmm.
and that is not the reality of policing. You know,
Yeah,
and like why do we where what oh god what is it, you know, why are they trying to make us think that like being really broke is one easy and glamorous, um, and something to be honored? Why are we trying to make the cops look like fucking Sherlock Holmes all the time? I
because
don't
it
get this.
shuts you up and lets us take all your money, and also you don't question when other cops like in reality can't solve
Mm-hmm.
real crimes, like
Right,
when like
criminals
people
are
have been
just too
talking.
smart.
Yeah, exactly. Because people have been talking about how serial killers, how they were all
Mhm.
supposedly geniuses. It's like, no, they're not. You
No,
guys just let
no.
them get away.
Yep, there was actually one of them was like, "I'm not a genius, dude. You guys are just racist."
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
oh man, no, dude, it's it sucks kind of analyzing media uh sometimes,
oh,
and
it's the worst.
seeing it's the worst because it's so weird, like you feel you want to trust, like I there's this thing, right, where sort of uh nefarious people, right, they utilize this idea by of like telling telling somebody that everybody else is stupid, like the whole world is dumb, you know,
Yeah.
people are dumb, right? And it can become, you know, a slippery slope into like alt-right pipeline type of thinking, right?
Yeah.
And I'm being very very quick and basic about this because I want to get to my point. um but like I want to negate that personally, you know what I mean, by having a lot of hope in humanity, being like people are generally smart and they generally challenge themselves to be better, you know, morally, intellectually, ethically, you know.
Hmm.
um, I think that most people try and do that. But then I see stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, are we dumb? Are we all stupid? Fuck! Oh
I mean, that's the thing, because, like, oh my god. So, I see these people, like, everywhere just going on about how everything. And I can, like, the people who are going on about the election and
no!
I don't know, any other random amount of things that they decide to hate at this point, like masking, whatever. And I can see,
Mm-hmm.
like, you guys are, like, genuinely concerned about, like, your well being. But, like, eventually, originally, my train of thought was originally, you have to see where to draw this line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't. And then they decided to try to storm their way into the Capitol. It's like, well, there we go. So,
Right. It's
like, I don't know. It's the problem
that's
is the problem is people's perception. Like, one of the issues that humanity has in general,
mm,
and I guess I somewhat always knew this. I was never just able to figure it out until, like, how to word it. One of the issues that humanity has in general is
okay.
the desire to have everyone think like them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in the simplest sense of the word, in the way this works is, you and your friend want to say, "Hey, I'm hungry. Let's go get something to eat." And
Mm,
then they say, "Sure. What do you want to eat?" "I want to go to Wendy's." And then you say, "No, I want to get Chinese." Now,
mm,
Wendy's and the Chinese place are literally right next to one another. You're not going to eat at this restaurant. You're going to take the food. You're going to come back here because, I don't know, the latest YouTube boxing match is on.
right.
But for some reason, you don't want me to have Wendy's. You want us both to get Chinese food for
Mm-hmm.
no reason. It was like, I don't I don't know why we can just both go. If we want us to go together, we can go together. It's like, no, you have to get Chinese too. Why? Don't ask stupid questions. Just do what I say. It was like, what the hell is happening?
I kind of agree with you, and I think
Uh,
yeah, I kind of agree with you. There is a level of wanting power, even though you don't necessarily need to have that power to get what you want.
yeah, I mean,
You know, at least that's what I'm getting from what you're saying. Or if I
yeah,
cut you off, my
like,
bad.
and it's not like it's not like everyone has wants that. It's I guess in like there was someone originally again the easiest way to use this is like from religion. Like a long time ago, some dude wanted
Mm,
everyone to listen to him. So in order to do that, he said,
right.
if you don't do what I say, well, I think hell was like just made up in like the 60s or something. I don't technically know. Like my
Mm.
knowledge on religion is like actual garbage. But the point is, if you
So
don't do what I say, then you're gonna get struck. You're gonna get struck down by the angels or whatever he told people.
right,
And
right, right. No, I get what you're saying.
that idea just kept going to now. Like there were people who have this same idea and are using it for the exact same reason.
Mm.
And I don't know, people are weird. I don't understand how I don't understand. It's
So there's actually I feel like you would really be interested in this. I think it's like an essay. I don't know if it's a book, but I've skimmed it a few times, and I like what it had to say. But it's called God in the State. It's an essay I think written by this dude Mikhail Bakunin, and I don't know, there's some criticisms about him personally, but just like this piece of writing, he kind of talks about the function of religion in politics and like just society, and his sort of viewpoint of how, at least from a perspective of like being a dude in Europe, Christianity was very specifically utilized to transform um, thoughts and opinions about like work, so
Mm.
that people's inclinations would be more susceptible to a a setup of society that benefited the people who had most of the power, i.e., like lords, religious higher ups and whatnot, the clergy, and such. So they would, um, he talked about how preachers and the clergy would change uh, the the sort of like social implication of being pious or being like a good religious
Yeah.
person, with like doing hard work, right? So they tied labor to
Oh,
showing God that you
yeah,
loved
yeah,
him,
yeah.
right? So there's a right. So it helped maintain this sort of attitude of doing a lot of work regardless of the material benefit, just because like working hard for the lords will grant you a seat in heaven or whatever. um, and how like Christianity and that particular section of the church, um, and I say that because like I don't want to just say like religion,
Mm.
because it's very much specific to like how Christianity functions, and I think like that's the best place that I can, from my personal intersecting identity, can like comment from the best, because like I went to church and whatnot for a little bit, and like I live in the United States that's very Christly
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
influence, you know. But whatever. And his perspective is very very much coming from that, and I don't know shit about how any other religions, churches work economically. Anyway,
Yeah.
so but like uh, you know, within this essay, he was talking about that, and I think that that would be a really interesting thing for you to check out, because I think that this sort of inherent and innate questioning that you have at this point, is very much along the line of thinking that this guy was on, and I think that he like reading it gave me a better sense of like how to language how I felt about religion, you know, and I don't know. I think it could also do the same for you, because you yeah,
All
I
right.
think you find
Yeah.
it interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you it.
All right, cool. Because I won't be able to find it. That's okay. Looking up stuff. All right, cool. Um,
Right, but uh, I don't know. I think that there's something there, um, of like a uh, a critique of like how like capitalism also functions with spirituality and faith, um, because fucking what's the shit called? Hmm. There's like this new age hippie sort of spirituality that is like kind of generally encompassing, and like there it surrounds the sale of like crystals and sage and stuff, and there's a lot of like sort of an appropriative nature to it, where they like
mm,
kind of take things from different indigenous cultures and really like bastardize them and misappropriate them,
right.
um, for profit. You know what I mean? And companies are, I'm pretty sure someone just there was a TikTok of like different like sages and like woods and stuff that you burn for a like indigenous religion, um, or like indigenous spiritual practice being sold at like Five Below, and a lot of people kind of have an issue with that.
Oh
Yeah,
my
you know what I mean?
god.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Oh,
so it's kind of it's like ugh. And I don't know, it's super weird because it's still you find that when you analyze the values of this version of these um, new age spirituality, they line up very much with the sort of standard like American Christianity in the
hmm.
way that like social dynamics are set up, and it really just reinforces the status quo, which is very interesting because it's like selling you, you know, ooh, this is different. You're gonna, you know, get your third eye
This
open.
will
Ooh.
essentially like this will be able to solve all of your current problems.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And it's just like repackaged Christianity. Yeah, it's wild.
Man.
But yeah, that's just a tangent. I don't know.
That's fine. Like this is because this is exactly why I say like because I don't know what people think of when I say like I don't really have like a thing to talk about because
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't want to. But this is like what I mean. It's like I have no idea.
Right.
This
These are just
entire
conversations with
thing.
people you find interesting and like,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. It's like
it's tight.
the point behind this isn't like because like there are plenty of people that are much smarter than me talking about this stuff. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to like inform people about stuff. There were tons of people that actually study stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The point behind me doing this is essentially like being well, not just a politician. There are plenty of things where you put yourself in the limelight where you have to be like a certain type of way.
Mm-hmm.
In like I can't say this for sure because I don't know any of them, but I assume politicians lie all the time, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
to actually harm people or just to make themselves seem better so they continue being politicians.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck that. I'm just gonna do this
Mm-hmm.
and, well, I'll either succeed or fail. I,
Right.
like, the worst way I have interpreted this myself is Lex Luthor. If you're gonna do something, then go big, as big as you can,
Okay.
and whatever happens, happens. Again, I'm not trying to kill Superman, so I figure it'll work for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Um so yeah, I just do this and people can see who I am as a person
Mm-hmm.
and they'll either say this is the dumbest idea on the face of this planet. There's no way I want this dude to be president of the United States. Or they'll
Mm-hmm.
say this is the greatest idea I've ever seen, and I especially want this guy to be president doing this.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
like it's literally only can go one of two ways. So
That's
yeah.
it. And you know, I think I support you in this journey, and I think that this is going to be a really interesting way because I think that like as you know you're just contacting people that you find interesting, right? And
Yeah.
you know want to put out there, right?
Yeah.
At a certain point, you know, you continue on with this. Uh, People will want to be someone who shows up on your platform to you know talk to you about their ideas and see how you feel about them. You know.
Listen, there are 2 points which I am super excited for. The
Okay.
first point is going to be when like you said, like someone again, I can't imagine who. When someone like actually like asked me to be on my show, like
Mm-hmm.
again, not to shit on any of the people that have already been on my show, but like actually
No, no.
important. But again, I'm not important either, so I feel like I can say that. like, I don't know.
Again,
Even like
I,
even from like the smallest standing, like I don't know. Like from TikTok, if like Beer Bong Jong asked to be on my show, that'd literally that'd be awesome.
Right. Because you
But
just be.
oh,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You got it.
but my other high point is going to be when the first person who wants to debate me why I shouldn't be doing this and why they hate me, because that's going to be the greatest. That's just going to be amazing. Because listen, there is no way, like, there's nothing anyone can say to me that's going to like make me double think this. I know this is stupid. I don't care.
That's
The
fair.
moment the
There's.
moment somebody does this, is going to completely reaffirm my idea of doing this. I don't know if you've ever seen it, because again, if you just like saw one of my videos and liked it and then followed me, you probably didn't. On
Mhm.
my page, I legitimately say I want to be president to piss off the fascists. That's my tagline.
And I love it. I've
So
actually seen
once
that, and it's quite nice.
so once that happens, it's just proof of that working. So there's nothing anyone can say to me to
Hmm.
to to make me, I don't know, veer from my course or whatever. But yeah, so
I respect it. No, that's freaking awesome. And I think, like I said, I really support your journey because I think that there is a something that I really respect, and it's something that I also um, try and know for myself. Is like I don't really know shit,
mm,
you know. I can try my best to like be as aware as possible, but I really don't know shit, and I have to learn from other people.
yeah,
And like I am very much an amalgamation of every person that I've ever met, and trying to like learn and unlearn shit that I've learned from them, or that I've gotten from them, right? And I think that's true for everybody.
yeah,
And I think that this sort of this journey of being like, all right, let me be open to everybody, like start building this sort of, I don't know, just journey of curiosity is really cool, and I can't wait to see the kind of like more people that you engage with, and like how these ideas affect you as a person, and then eventually affect the world, because I think that it could be, because you got the drive, my man.
the only thing I've ever been driven to do in my entire life, and it's really weird. Like
Dude,
seriously, I've like
yeah.
I don't do stuff like I wanted to be a
Hmm.
chef. Like I went to culinary school, but again, that's what I dropped out from. But I
Gotcha.
realized I can't be a chef because people are people, and I would probably stab someone or poison their food. So that immediately became not an option for me. So
Hmm.
yeah,
They're just getting on your nerves too much.
I mean, because I didn't even get. I was still in school when this happened. Like I said, that's why I didn't graduate. But
Oh,
like,
I gotcha.
just from the knowledge of what was going to happen,
Hmm.
it's like, that's right. I don't like cooking for people. Fuck people. I like cooking because I like eating food.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I dropped well, technically, I didn't drop out. I couldn't pay the next year because stuff happened, and I didn't go
Right.
back. It's
Gotcha.
like, I'm
No,
too
I
self.
feel,
Oh, I'm just
I
gonna
feel,
say,
I. Oh, go ahead.
you
Sorry.
go. No, you go.
No, you.
Okay, cool. I'm too selfish to do things for other people. That's why I think I can be president, because I'm selfishly going to fix the country out of spite because I'm a selfish asshole.
You know, that's knowing oneself is some very powerful shit, my friend.
Yeah,
I can't, like, the fact that you are just like, yep, nah, this is me, and I'm going to use this for good. Amazing.
exactly.
Amazing. But yeah, no, dude, I kind of get that too, because like I also my fucking dad was a chef, and he would tell me stories about like his time as like an apprentice chef or a sous chef or whatever, and in
Yeah.
culinary school, and like chefs are dicks. The culture
Yeah.
around it is like so wild, and that Gordon Ramsay character is like all over, and it's weird. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
just I wouldn't, I don't want. I like cooking, but I would never go to culinary school, and I never wanted to go to culinary school because I was like scary. Like I
Yeah.
don't know, I couldn't deal with that. That's too much. Too much like oof, you know.
Mm-hmm.
To nah.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. It's not even close to me because they were like that in the school too. That's the crazy part. These people that were teaching us, they weren't even in like restaurants anymore. They still were like that.
Mm.
It's insane. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. They kind of keep it up because I guess they like went through it, so they're like, this is how it's got to be. And I don't think that that's necessarily what makes a good cook. Like I think like I respect like a Gordon Ramsay. Like I do respect Gordon Ramsay to a degree.
mm,
Like if he goes into a kitchen and he's like, hey man, this is kind of gross. You should do better. And somebody gets their shit together, and he well, that's whatever. But I also think that it's just weird. It's like kind of toxic. It's like, dude, you don't got to be a super asshole to get
okay.
results.
Here's the thing. Well, what like Gordon Ramsay's such a weird dude. Like ideal, ideologically speaking. Because I mean, it's not like he's actually like that. That's like his chef persona. Because, like you said, all chefs are assholes, and that's the issue. Because I don't know. This is my own way of putting it because I forget the analogy that other people used. But your kitchen in like for restaurants, even your kitchen at home, is like your own personal space,
Mm-hmm.
and you're in charge of that space. Because again, that's you're the head chef. So then this other dude comes in here with like
Mm-hmm.
all this training in his fancy stores, in his fancy restaurants, telling me that I'm running my kitchen wrong. Now you are, because
Mm-hmm.
there are mice in here, and
Right.
your meat's been left out for like 5 hours.
Who you're
But
breaking now?
like that's their thinking. So like he had to create this persona in order to get through, like not even to like the people that he's doing the show with, like in his own kitchen when he was starting out, probably like when he was
Mm-hmm.
like learning or the assistant chef or whatever. And that's why, again, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, like that's why I can't actually work in the kitchen because like I can't deal with that.
No, I feel like I wouldn't be able to deal with that shit either, man. But so wait, what do you do? What do you do now other than make the TikToks?
Oh, I work the night shift in an office building. I don't again I've got a job where I can stay up all night because I'm awake at night anyway, and well, I'm away from people, which is
Mm-hmm.
pretty much all I. People have asked me, "What are you going to do once you become president?" Isn't that's like the exact opposite? It's like that's different. I'll be president then. Like I can be in charge. My only issue is like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a pretty chill guy. Like, but people want to get on your case about stupid stuff for like no reason. That's what I have an
Mm-hmm.
issue with. I don't have an issue with like stress. I do great with stress. I have problem with
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
needless stupidity. So
Mm.
yeah, well,
Makes sense.
I mean, kind of. There's still a lot of needless stupidity in government, but at that point, I'll be too high on the fact that I won, so
Now you gotta.
I'll get through it.
Yeah, exactly.
oh,
You gotta figure out how to scrub it and clean it up.
oh man.
But I'm actually getting towards where my fucking chariot turns back into a pumpkin.
Yeah, it's been like 2 hours. So okay, so I'll close this and then I'll end the recording.
But
Yeah, no
thank you for
problem.
having me.
Oh, I was just gonna go through my
What's up, dude?
Oh, I
No,
think
this
our
is a
connection's breaking down. Anyway,
yeah.
so
Ah,
I would thank Misha or Dance Praxis for joining me on whatever this is. Um, You can ask people or be on my show if you want to. I'll I don't care. I'll talk to anybody. I have no life and no friends, so it's cool. Um, I have
Gotcha.
stuff. Thanks. I have stuff in the bottom. I have shirts. I think. I don't know what they say. I forget. I designed them and then I put them up and I forgot about them. Anyway, I used to post these every Thursday, and that I'll see you later with whatever I come up with. All right.
Hell yeah, this is great. Loved being on whatever this was. An amazing
Oh,
experience.